Okay, good afternoon, good day. Welcome to my Kalandrakas Facebook Live. Actually, ang aming program with Editor Alan is every Monday. But i-try nato ni karon kay ang ating program is also aired via Jow TV. Basically, we have only 5 days to go before election. Before this country will elect a new president, vice president, 12 senators, governors, vice governors, sangguniang palalawigan members, mayors, vice mayors, sangguniang bayan, sangguniang panglungsod, in the city of Cagayan de Oro where we are based. Mainit na ang politika. As usual, ang pinakamainit will be the local elections, no? Because in the so-called Mortal Kombat, dito natin matest ang ating mga local candidates. In Camiguin, medyo init na rin. The usual, the dynasty is trying to parang muscle flex, no? Their powers, no? Then may mga usapin. I'd like to focus on today. Thank you for watching, my good friend Roy Orot. I hope you will share later your view on the so-called Iglesia ni Cristo votes. Alam niyo po, the votes of a religious group is always very important. Okay? Pero why do we have to give more points or emphasis on the Iglesia ni Cristo endorsement? Simply because the Iglesia ni Cristo is a solid votes. Because if you will not follow the decree of their bosses, yung boss nila, parang siguro malaking kasalanan sa kanilang simbahan. But that is basically 6 to 7 million votes all over the country. I do not dwell on how the process of selecting. After all, hindi man ako member ng Iglesia ni Cristo. I belong to another religious organization. But hindi pa kaya ito pag-usapin yung votes ng mga reliyon? Hindi ba natin mapag-usapan yung bakit mayroong separation of the church and the state? Di ba? Kasi malawak na usapin din yon. The reason why there is in this separation of the church and the state among democratic countries, siguro nakikita nila ang the powers of the state invading into the right ng tao on salvation or his religion. Di ba? Siguro ang ating usapin na kasintro doon sa this doctrine of the church and the state. But kung titingnan ninyo sa mga treaties or mga writings on this issue, it is trying to stifle the powers of the government or of the state, no, on imposing a religious establishment or running after religious leaders, but more sided against the state over religion. Pero naging usapin sa ating bansa or even in the US. Mga famous leaders in the church. But they do not support a candidate. They just come up with a presidential edict or guidance to elect a public official. But wala yung voting block na kung sila'y boboto, malaking bagay yon. No? Let's take the case of the Iglesia ni Cristo. Overall, in this country, they have that numbers. So malaking bagay din iyon in terms of tilting the balance. Di ba? And then, maraming nagko-court sa kanila to get that votes. No? So good day sa aking kaibigan nasa Iloilo, si Pamela Paranpan. Of course, thank you for watching. Matagal na tayo hindi nakita. Nandun ako sa Iloilo. Busy ka siguro sa work mo. Okay. Roden Puwa din watching. May isa sa Myanmar. My good friend in Myanmar also is watching. I-acknowledge natin yung kanina sinabi ko kay si Jirek, then si Roy Orot, akong kaibigan, no? Watching. So, itong endorsement of the Iglesia ni Cristo, di ba? And what is ironic, di ba, kung titingnan mo, most Catholics also are courting the endorsement of this group, no? Good afternoon. Umalabot, di mo gini kakapildi mo nang ganahan ko anini. I think usaray chance nga na inumdum ko na pildi ni si Kagawad Edgar Cabanlas katong gidagan pagka congressman niya. But for Kagawad, pirmi ni dog. Thank you for watching Kagawad Edgar Salcido Cabanlas. Ayaw ninyo kalimti ka na. Kay usasa na siya sa nagtabang instrumental. Si Kagawad Ed. Niyanang natituluhan gyud kining niyato piso-piso program nga papilra. But through Kagawad Edgar Cabanlas sa insistence in the city council. So natagaan ka magtitulo diya. Di ba? Thank you for watching. No? So go back to Iglesia ni Cristo votes. Unsab ni ka malaki ba masyado? Well, in a national campaign, 6 million is a big vote. No, it's a large chunk in the campaign. However, marami mang mga other religious groups. The largest numbers is the Roman Catholic in this country. So I do not want to polarize the division, but this is the moment. This is the moment. If you want that the Catholic or all Catholic or their votes will be heard, then it is time for them to show their votes. Unfortunately, in this country, there is no Roman Catholic votes. Why? Because ang mga Katoliko, kanya-kanya man, most corrupt politicians are also Catholic. Di ba? Kukunti lang ang mga Iglesia ni Cristo naman na nagiging public servant. Are you saying that they are not corrupt? So, marami din. I know. You know, even if you belong to a religious group, it will not automatically mean that you are not corrupt, because power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Okay? Well, Mayong hapon po kay ako ni estudyante, si Merilo Pimentelgo. Okay? Si Din Sibuan is also watching. Ramon, are you still somewhere in Davao de Oro? Okay? Si Ira, ang ating kasama sa Manila, no? So, that is why people, I cannot understand, particularly politicians, are courting religious votes, religious organizations. Yet, they do not even serve the public the best they could. And this Catholic, as well as Iglesia ni Cristo, titingnan mo, may choice pa sila. They have 12 senators. And some of the senators that they elect are either facing plunder cases. Di ba? So, I'm not saying that the Iglesia ni Cristo's decision to support a candidate should be ignored or should be dismissed. But what I am saying, the danger of religious organizations endorsing candidates, di ba? Then, what will happen? They're also, then, alam mo, they will even follow because in the religious discipline ng Iglesia ni Cristo, kung anong sinabi sa kanilang deacon or sa kanilang head, they will really follow. Di ba? So, ito is a big issue sa ibang religion. Mayroon pa. Ito pa si Pastor Kibuloy na asab siya supporter. Musunod sa kana. Di ba? Remember si brother Mike Bilarte. So religious organizations in this country, abi ko man, akala ko ba they are just thinking of salvation or trying to save your soul or decrease some morals so people will follow. But they are now entering into a very serious, very contentious and partisan activities, and that is election. So, mga kapatid, while karapatan ninyo na magpili, but sa isang doctrine of the separation of the church and the state, ito ba ay is it within the tenets of that doctrine? When religious organizations, di ba, support ang mga Katoliko, galit sila pag ang santo, mga pari mag-endorse, magalit, yet Katoliko pero sa Iglesia ni Cristo, hindi pwedeng magalit ka kung anong sabi sa higher echelons or their bosses. That is, to them, the voice of the Lord. May mga pastors din supporting Manny Pacquiao. Marami ding ibang Catholic priest now supporting Lini Robredo. So, I'd just like to get your idea, you know, ano ba tayo? Are we now courting religious organizations, non-Christians, Christians, Muslims, into a political activity purely partisan? Di ba? Hindi kaya ang mangyari sa atin, pag kayo'y nakaupo, will you not be favoring this particular religious group? Di ba? Bawal nga, di ba? Bawal nga yung mag-insist ka na, okay, dito, or gamitin ang isang private or rather public property to favor one religion. Bawal yon. Pero nagiging political power block ang aking kinatakutan dito when a religious organization becomes a potent force in determining who will be our leaders of this country, or even in the local politics. Di ba? They are courting the votes of the Catholics. They are courting the votes of Iglesia ni Cristo, the UCCP, the other evangelist organization. Then yet, these men in cloth and using the pulpit to advance their political agenda, to me, is bordering on a dangerous path. Mga igsoon, mga kapatid, siguro panahon na ang usapin, ano po ba ang role ng mga simbahan, ng mga religious groups? Can they not just confine it within themselves? Di ba? Rather than openly campaign. Yun ang problema. Whether the Catholic, the Iglesia ni Cristo. Di ba? Pero maraming mga spin doctors nito. Nga these religious organizations are being used to advance a political cause. So mga kapatid, ano kaya sa tingin ninyo? Are we a country going to the bananas? Going to the drain? Yun. Ang mga tao ngayon, aside sa religion, nadagdagan pa. Marami pang naghintay. Ang mga kaibigan ko umuwi sa kanilang bayan dahil may budget na. So, di ba? May budget. Di ba? Gusto nila madawat na nila, matanggap na nila yung vote buying. You know, as I said this over and over again, pag ang isang politiko ay gumastos ng malaki, natural lamang na babawiin niya yon. Saan ba siya kukuha ng pira para mabawi? Of course, on contracts, projects of government, ghost employees. Diba? So, you imagine. That is why our country seems to be lost in a sense. Where is our national pride as a Filipino? When we keep on electing people who are facing charges with the courts. Ano po ba tayo isip as a nation, as a country? What is our moral values when we keep on electing people who will buy our votes? Di ba? O, yun. I was listening to one radio discussion. Normal lang daw itong vote buying. Alam nyo po, pag ganun ang usapin, na ito'y normal na, yung abnormal becomes normal, then our society is now in danger. When we do not know already the distinction of what is evil and what is good, then there is really a problem sa ating society. Vote buying is a violation of the election code. Di ba? More so when you kill for position. Why not just campaign on the basis of issues? Campaign on the basis of your programs. And face the public. Alam mo, in real democracy, if you look at the spirit of republicanism as enshrined in our Constitution, sovereignty resides in the people, and all government authority emanates from them. In short, ang power, no? Ang ating gahom, ang gahom sa katawan, ang gahom sa gobyerno, anaa sa katawan. It is the power of the people that is important. Pero dito sa ating bansa, in our areas where we are also eking a living, it is not the people dictating. It is the politicians dictating. Why? Tungod kay we as a voter, di ba, is more interested of our vested and personal selfish interest. Paano ta magkapira? Paano ta magkasapi? Nabay pangwitik diya. Di ba? So the essence of democracy is prostituted from the very thinking of our voter, that they go into voting simply because they are paid. They are treated like cows, herded cows. Kung asa birahon, dito sila. Nawala to nga, di ba? Kita? I learned one on how people or the power of the people are respected. I had the opportunity to visit San Diego, California. Then there, in that airport, ang plane nila, it will only be able to land after 6 in the morning and no flights after 10 in the evening. Ang reason, yung mga tao, they do not want to be disturbed sa eroplano. Diba? Ang ingay ng plane, so they do not want to wake up as early as 6 in the morning. Let the plane land in San Diego only after 6 in the morning and no flights after 10 so that they will not be disturbed sa kanilang pagtulog. Pero dito sa ating bansa, we allow everybody to disturb our peace under the guise of commerce, under the guise of trade. In Australia, if you cross or create a highway and then ito'y dadaan ng subdivision, make sure that the people nearby will not be disturbed by noise pollution. And the people are listened to by their public officials. But in this country, public officials are the one dictating their terms. Then tayo, as a voter, as equally ignorant as some politicians, will just be voting on the basis of sino makabigay. Can we not listen to the programs of these people? You know, it is sad, like I supposed to vote for Attorney Marcolita, who had shown competence and credibility during the congressional investigation on the franchise. But along the way, sabi niya, hindi niya kaya in terms of gastos, plus naniniwala pa siya ng survey. But basically, you know, in a national campaign, in this country, matatalo ka if you're not that popular. Awareness seems to be very important in candidacy. And that is why many of our incumbents, medyo may lamang sila because of popularity, because of the level of awareness. Di ba? So, yes. Okay. Yes, my good friend in Baguio, si Dr. Meller Pickley, is also watching. Thank you for watching, Brad. Jovin Katakis, John Basbas, okay, si Itanat. Oh, akong igagaw niya sa Camiguin, si Ninita, si Liumar sa watching in St. Jude College. Okay. Melvin Mendoza, saan po kayo, Melvin? Kay Banjubel Kutiangco is also si Melvin used to be with me sa IT kasi ito sa FENMA Education. So, look, ngayon, in the front runners now in the national politics, you have Lini Robredo, you have BBM, tapos Manny Pacquiao, Isko Moreno, Ping Lacson. And the first five, ito lang. Sila ni Abilia o si dating security advisor, di ba, si Abilia, si yung security advisor na under Christian Democrats. Wala na. Di nila sa you're back. So, balik na pala kayo, Melvin. Si Melvin Mendoza, sa FINMA, no? So, yun. So, May 9, mag-stop na, by the way, ang kampanya sa May 7, Saturday. Wala na kampanya, 12 midnight ng Saturday, stop na. Wala na kampanya. Meeting na lang ito. Maghintay ng ulan-ulan. Maghintay ng lista. Naiuban na to mga kaibigan. Umuwi na sa kanilang bayan. Dahil lista na. Good news is in Misamis Occidental, it's under COMELEC control. That means may mga issues. But what is the impact of having under COMELEC control? So, pwedeng maraming mga member ng PNP. How about vote buying? Vote buying, di ba? Para din itong, para bang binibinta mo rin ng sarili mo. But this is more, it was an spiraling impact on governance because the vote buying will make or have an impact both either way, no? Either negative or good for the next 3 years in the local sitting, but in the national another 6 years. Di ba? 6 years for president and vice president and senators. Hayaan mo na lang yung mga senador kung sinong presidente. Ano lang talaga, the party to them is just like a birthday party. They do not have the balls or the principles in keeping their party oath. Di ba? Thank you, Edgar Navarro, watching, no? So, look, hayaan mo yung mga senador. Because kung sinong nakaupo na presidente, lilipat din sila eh. So, ang very crucial is the president. Yung vice president, wala yun. Di ba? Pag vice president ka, unless kasama kayo ng presidente, di ba? Kung kontra ka, wala masyadong position mo. Di ba? Unlike in the United States of America, that the vote of the president is the vote of the vice president. But in the Philippines, we have not done that, meaning gigawang batas. So, pwedeng kalaban yung vice president as what happened ni Vice President Lini, since over the backod siya, so hindi siya masyadong binigyan ng papel ni President Duterte because si President Duterte may gusto niyang magiging presidente after him. Maliwanag yun eh. Kasi kung for the country, forget it. Thank you, Ray Rabadon, Rinaldo Rabadon, aking kilala ko to, aking magaling na estudyante ng ETAP ko. Paikot-ikot yan. Ray, bakit napunta ka ng Iloilo? Marami ka bang kamag-anak sa Iloilo? Damo ka bang kautod sa Iloilo? Ako ay frequent Iloilo University because that's part of my area, no? Na aking ETAP. So, vote buying. In other towns, 10 to 15,000 na ang vote buying. Imagine that. Di ba? 4,000, mayroon ng lista. And unfortunately, COMELEC has not poked their fingers into this issue. I have yet to read a ruling na nagtalo dahil sa vote buying. Akong igagaw. Dini nagsugod ang korupsyon sa pag-vote buying. Pero ingon sila, palipay ang ilang himo, dili vote buying. Mga bright ginigaw ba? Ignon na nga palipay. Matod pa lagi nila, ulan-ulan. Di na ni ulan-ulan. Baha na gani. Baha na. But, in a third world countries like the Philippines, where if you look at the datos, 11 million unemployed in the country today. So gaw, may tabo gid niya na nga vote buying pahalipay. Sus, we know mga igsoon. Ito lang. You come to think about it. Why should you spend millions of pesos for a position na ang return nimo or imong sweldo di manggali moabot og milyon? Hindi aabot ng milyon to become congressman. You'll not be your salary or even president. Di ba? Pero why should you be spending more? Di ba? Hindi kaya dahil sa project? Hindi kaya sa corruption? I leave that to our viewers now. An appeal to our viewers. Kung kanang pahalipay, ninakaw din yon, tanggapin na ninyo, at ibuto ang kalaban. Di ba? Para to give them a lesson. Di ba? Total, hindi man nila matrace kung bumuto ka ba talaga sa kanila o hindi. Unless there is a connivance of poll clerks inside the precinct na ilang ipakita lagi ang boto. That is why, by the way, in the May 9 election, hindi pwedeng magdala ng cellphone. Kay picturean nimo. Pwede ka magdala ng lista kung sinong ibuboto mo, pero hindi pwedeng tingnan mo sa cellphone mo. So, di pwede, ha? At it is also not correct na kung hindi ka bakunado, hindi ka makaboto. That is why I asked Comelec, itong mga acceptance ng mga LGUs, ano, kung walang bakuna siya, buboto siya, will he not be accepted? When very clear in the Comelec guidelines na pwede. Di ba? Diya sa Islas Camiguin. Oh, okay? Unsa man. Michael Jala is also watching. Okay, salamat. So, yun, di ba? So, why? What's the point? So, ako, after these elections, I will file charges against this kind of policy or even complain. Because maliwanag yon. Ang election karon mo importante. Di ba? As a matter of fact, pag taas imong temperature, hindi ibig sabihin you cannot vote. Ilagay ka lang doon, i-isolate ka lang, tapos they will still allow you to vote. Di ba? So, I will try to visit siguro Comelec. Aside ganito, no? I will try to visit the regional office, no? Of the Comelec on this issue. Kasi, like in my case, tatawid ako ng Camiguin, kailangan ko pa ng acceptance. I think they should review the IATF resolution. Di ba? I do not know why some local government officials are not reading. You know, the acceptance is only on matters of locally stranded individuals or returning. But how about your right to vote? Okay? Diya sa Baguio, siguro, malaking issue na din yun, no? Ethan watching sa, NCR. Okay, si ako yung gagaw, si John Balls. Okay, watching, and also, ang aking si Evilia Rogay Amo, yeah, thank you. Ang mother-in-law siguro ni Apple. Okay. Look, thank you, in Bohol. So, I'd like to ask our viewers now and spread it and share it with our friends. Vote buying is really a crime. It is an election offense. But sinabi nga, pahalipay. So we have to be very careful on people na mag-vote buy. Because kung nag-vote buy sila mismo nag-violate na ng election laws. Then how can you expect good leaders when they themselves already violated an election law that is vote buying? And then what can we expect if people buys your votes? Diba? So you do not expect good governance because the first thing that they will do is recover the money that they use to buy our votes. Diba? So we have to be careful. Para sa akin, pag sino yung nagbigay ng pira, huwag niyong iboto. Iboto ninyo yung kalaban para we will try also new players in governance. Do not believe that these barangay officials na takutin kayo. After all, they are paid for by our taxes. Diba? So, mga kapatid, 5 days, May 9 election. This is a crucial election sa ating bansa. Not only that we are, almost wiped out because of the COVID-19, but 11 million unemployed. People are starving in some parts of the country. Mahal ang gasolina. Lahat nagmahal. Nitaas na. Ang wala mo taas kuha na lang siguro, dagol na lang ang wala mo taas. Diba? So everything is skyrocketing in terms of the cost. Diya sa Camiguin, come to think about it. Diba? There is a proposal to privatize water. For heaven's sake. Diya sa Camiguin, mga utaw-ta, pag una-una, da kamo. Mahal pa. Camiguin is one of the most expensive electric power. Come to think about it. Diba? This is the moment that we as a people will use our sovereign power, our right of suffrage is guaranteed by the Constitution. This is our right now to determine the events that will unfold in the coming, for the next 3 years. Diba? Isipin natin, for national office, for president for the next 6 years. Well, as I've said kaganina, there is this religious group. So, siguro, if the Iglesia ni Cristo, that is the right, I think it is also the right of the Catholic to organize their churches to campaign for their own candidate. Panahon na siguro that we will open the gates to all religious organizations to openly campaign. Total, nawala na yung semblance of the religion concept na you go there for peace, for salvation. So I leave it to everybody. So I will have every day kalandrakas. Every day, I would like to share my thoughts. Dini sa Cagayan de Oro, init na. Bibo na kayo. There are 2 contenders for mayor. Clarix Oy, incumbent congressman. Then, Pompi Lavinia, used to be the PBDIC administrator. Pero ang maganda dito, para sa ako, may laban. Because Si Pompi Labinya, nidagan pagka-mayor pilde in the 2019 elections. Si Clarix Oy, sometime in 2013, gidagan sad na pagka-mayor pilde. So, tabla sila. Di ba? Talo din. Di ba? Tabla. Ha? Pero, ang advantage lang ni Clarix, kaya nasa siya dako kay nga barangay, Carmen. Di ba? Pero si Pompi, wa man siya barangay, nga iyang biliwik, pero nakasandal man sab siya ni Rodriguez. Di ba? So, it's to me right now, it's still everybody's game. Although nagkainit na. Thank you. Kung binata, Zurin Prias watching. Are you watching in the airport or in the house? So maliwanag, maganda dito. Pero sa away, sa pagka-congressman, Murag Rufus Rodriguez, lamang kayo. Lamang kayo kay iyang kontra si anak ni Ami man to. Murag, piki. Pero di man lagi. Kinsa bagay naghandom nga si Gulayat na pildi ni David. So, di ba? Ganun ang politics eh. Dini sa district ni Clarix, iyang anak si Kikang versus Attorney Lordan Swan. Nindot kay ni. Pero diya sa Manolo Fortits, lamang man si akong higala, Congressman Joe Alba, taking the lead, the wife of, the husband of Malo, incumbent congressman in this doing Totalakag, Manolo, anak nga district. Thank you for watching, Hani Agaw. Lawrence, Lawrence Basan, Din Basan. Sa Surigao del Sur na di ka karon, Lawrence? Not in this, nag-enjoy siguro ka Surigao del Sur, ha? Nag-enjoy ka siguro diya, ha? Sa Surigao del Sur. Kaya, di ba, sa Tornino, Lawrence Magka, still with the Orios in Butuan, usasad na ka magiting na Dikano. So yun, di ba? In the province of Bukidnon, medyo mainit, no? Okay, of course, it's not Nonoy Jura gunning for governor, it is the son. Pero sa Camiguin, away kayo. Attorney Mabali, Momot Ibkas, JJ Romualdo. Si JJ Romualdo, dugay naman, wak ba mo sumhi, diya? Atong nang higala, higala ko kini silang mga igsoon. Taod-taod ba yan ko sa media? Diba? Sa 1980, kana sila agpatid-patid sa naglata des Nazaret. Diba? Kung wala nagka-revolusyon sa 86, diba? Walang Romualdo in the province of Camiguin. I'd like to share that with you. Si akong mga igagaw diya, mga balyar, si Nita watching us. Oh, Manny Aliman, thank you for watching. Mga igsoon, tomorrow, I'd like to discuss on the dynasty. What is the effect of the family dynasties dito sa ating bansa? Kasi, ang election ngayon, if you look at ang, di ba? Ang survey is on May 9. Alam nyo po, bakit ako mismo, I'm not saying that that's a totally incorrect yung survey na pero with the trolls around in this country now, do you think surveys, well, according to Pulse Asia, sabi na face-to-face actual interview, but take note, accordingly there are about 65 or 67 million voters. Ang tinanong lang, 3,000 people. Statistical manggod na. It's a scientific approach. But you look at, dapat i-expose nila A, B, C, D, E ang votes. Then you also tell us where in the, kaya saan sila gipangutana? Saan sila nagpangutana? By regions ba? Di ba? Ilang regions tayo? 13 regions in this country. Di ba? Baka yung tanong sa 3,000 saan? Dapat i-explain ng gi-commission like policy. But there is also Google Trends. Nag-challenge sana. So, right now, as we are nearing the election day, let us not consider all surveys. Let us now consider what is in our heart, in our mind. And if you think you have a candidate, you campaign for your candidate. Di ba? Salamat. Okay. Oh, Lawrence, connected in Northeastern Mindanao State University. Okay. Sa University, Cantilan Campus, Cantilan, Surigao del Sur. O, sa other time, visitar ko niya kay sorry man ko part sa akong kampanya para sa ITIAP. Dili, wala tayo kandidato diya. It's more on. Salamat, Lawrence, for updating me, ha. Jim Saul is also watching. Thank you. By the way, I have a regular every Monday program. But this May 9 election, every Monday sa Mindanao Daily News, kining alauna nga to sa 1 to 2 p.m. But now, because of the election time, I'll just continue sharing my thoughts as past president na ko ng Cagayan Press Club, and also our program Kalandrakas. Well, I'm running out of time. Maraming salamat sa sumusunod sa ating Kalandrakas FB line. And I will join you tomorrow at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'd just like to start in the afternoon by 3. Thank you for watching. And join me tomorrow, same time as I discuss on the effects of family dynasties. Maraming salamat po. Good day. Think of this country as our own vote to salvation. Salamat.